Hi Seagull class! We're going to be practicing telling time again today, but this time we're going to be looking at the minutes from 6 until 10. So, first let's look at this clock. I colored in yellow this part that we've already learned, because you've already learned this part. I hope you've been practicing. So now we're going to learn from here all the way down to here. We'll be learning the minutes. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So have your paper ready with the clocks. And let's practice. I'm going to use the same colors, but if you will have a new sheet, so you can use different colors if you want. But make sure to write your hour color at the top, and then the minute color, and label those so that you can tell which color hand means which hand on the clock. So first, let's see, last time we used the hour 3. This time, let's use the hour 11. The hour doesn't matter as much because right now we're practicing the minute hand. The hour hand is easy to tell what number it is because it's whatever number it's pointing to. So here's my hour hand. You can see it's pointing to the 11, so it's the hour 11. Now for my minute hand, I want it to point just past the 5 minutes, which is corresponding to the number 1. So the dash that's just past the number 1 will be where our minute hand goes, at the 6. So we say it is 11:06. Just like this. (11:06). Okay, now we're going to go just 1 minute past that to 1:07. So it will be 2 dashes from this long one that means 5 minutes but is labeled 1. So we can write in the hour. Let's just keep it at 11 for right now, since what we really want to practice is the minute hand. The hour hand is always shorter than the minute hand too. Okay, so I have my hour hand ready. It's in place. Oops, there it is. Right here. And now I'm going to have the minute hand point to the second dash past the 1, because when I look at my clock that shows us the minutes, we remember that minutes are told a little differently. And we say that this is 11:07. Okay, so here it is. There's my minute hand that's pointing 2 dashes after the 1. And here I've written 11:06. And you say the O, 11:07. You say the O because there's a 0. And although an O and a 0 are not the same thing, they kind of look similar, and so that's why it's called 11:07. Okay? Can you guess what we're going to do next? Let's do 11:08. So we look at this clock and you see the 5 that corresponds with the 1. The dash after is 6. 2 dashes after that 1 is the 7. 3 dashes after the 1 is 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So with your hour color, the shorthand can point at 11. And your minute hand, 1, 2, 3, is the third one from the 1. The third dash from number 1. And we say that is 11:08. Okay, here it is. My copy of the clocks doesn't have very clear minute markings in between the numbers, so I just went over it with my pencil so you can see it even better. There are 4 minute markings between each hour marking. Okay. Now we want to point our minute hand on the next one we do to 4 minutes past 5. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. And look at what minute that will be. Oh, 9. It's the last one before we get to this big one that is pointing to the 2 and the 10. So the 4th minute past 5. We'll draw on our short hour hand that points to the 11. And then the minute hand that points to 4 small dashes after the 5. So I have my hands. It's not quite to the 10 dash yet, the one that's on the 2. And I write 11:09 with my minute and hour corresponding colors. And now we'll write 11:09. $11:09. Okay, here's one more that you get to learn today. The minute hand, the next dash, we're at the 10, at the 2. So whenever you look at a clock, if the minute hand is pointing to the 2, you know the minutes are 10, and they're not actually 2. Because only the hour hand gets to say the number that it's on. But the minutes, we have to count all of these dashes. And so when the minute hand gets to this marking that corresponds to the hour 2, we know that the minutes are actually 10. 10! So let's put in our hour hand pointing at the 11, a shorter hand. And our longer minute hand is going to point at the 2. And we can write the numbers for the time like this, because now it's 11:10. 11:10. We don't have to say the O part anymore because after 11 there's no 0, but the number is 10. 11:10. So we say this is 11:10, and you can write it on your paper as well. $11.10. So now you know how to read from o'clock to the minutes all the way to 5, and now the minutes all the way to 10. You're learning so much. I'm going to color in all the way to 10. This can be my clock for keeping track. You might decide to do this with your clock as well, but just choose a color that's light so that you can still see the numbers very clearly. So you've learned, oh, and I need to color this. It does say 60 at the top instead of 2 zeros like we usually say for o'clock, but that's just because on the 60th minute is when we start over. If I had made this clock, I would have made it say 00. Look at how much of the clock you know how to read now. That's a lot. So practice some more of these minutes between 6 and 10. Maybe you can make a different hour, or maybe you could do it in a different order, or you can make a game where you cut out your clocks and put them face down and then do a guessing game of which clock means which names. You cut the clock out and then the time, this part differently. So you have a clock and then you have this part, and you have to figure out which ones of these belong with which clock face, if you want to. Or you can just practice reading the clock and writing the number and saying the number out loud. So you might guess what we're going to do in the next lesson is to go from 11 to 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, if you think that you can go ahead and do that after you practice your 6 to 10, you can go ahead and try. You can go ahead and try and do your clock faces and writing down the numbers and writing down the names of the time for 11 to 15 minutes, if you want to. I'll still make another video for this, and then you can check your work if you tried it out already, or if you want to just wait and learn it with the next video, you can do that too. Happy timekeeping!